Ooh. So there's been a 6.6 magnitude earthquake in the city of Sapporo. The epicenter was kind of just south. Electricity has been out all day. Water's been out all day. Some apartments have water, some apartments have electricity, but it looks like no apartments have both. I've got this bike light from Daiso to illuminate my beautiful face. So I can either get it like disco mode, like, or like slow-mo, like bam 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 bam. But yeah, I think this is a little bit better, maybe. First proper earthquake, 3 AM in the morning. The whole apartment was just shaking. It was mad. Day before that we had a typhoon and the whole apartment was shaking. Literally like 2 massive disasters within 2 days. Apparently there's another earthquake coming, just need to wait, but got no phone, no internet, no electricity, no water, so yeah, literally the start of the apocalypse. This is my first earthquake in Japan, unprepared. Luckily my girlfriend Aika and her parents and sister brought loads of food. Let's take a look at what we got, shall we? That's some water I filled up earlier. Peanut butter, onion soup, orange juice. That's some ice that melted into water. Cheetos for Aika, snacks for Aika. Is that vitamin C? Don't know what that is. Oh, more Cheetos. 2 Cheetos. Bloody hell. There's some old expired water. Not that I thought water expired, but that's for like showering tomorrow. And that's some drinking water. But other than that, this is the life at the moment. So see you later. So it's 4:30 AM now. Electricity has just come back on. Water has kind of come on, but it's doing this like mental splashy thing. So Ike's just told me to fill up the bathtub just in case it goes out again. At least we have like some shower water, toilet water. But it's been a real shock actually. Like, this is my first kind of emergency, and literally like Ika's parents brought around diapers, and at first I was like laughing. I was like yeah, I'm not going to use them. I mean, I still haven't, but like it's actually a normal sensible idea. So yeah, I guess I'm still kind of in like, I don't know, it's kind of like the first time it's happened to me, so I don't really know how to feel. I'm not scared, but I'm also not kind of taking it seriously. Like it's been a tough day because literally you can't do anything. It's mad how much you rely on like electricity, and then at night time by about 6 o'clock it was pitch black, so you can't even read a book. There's literally no light at all, so we had to use our bike lights. It was like a disco in here. It was just like flashing like, so that was mad. But yeah, school's out tomorrow. Got all our snacks prepared, got our go-to bags prepared, and got the diapers prepared. Sorted. See you later. So when that earthquake hit, I literally had no idea what to do. I just woke up 3:30 in the morning and was in shock basically. I had no idea what to do. Whereas my girlfriend, who's Japanese, was calm, relaxed, and prepared. And so together we've come up with a few tips on how to survive an earthquake in Japan. So we're going to talk about 3 topics today: the before, the during, and the after. Now this video is obviously how to deal with earthquakes, but specifically how to deal with earthquakes in Japan. Because being in a different country when an earthquake strikes and not being able to understand the language, not being prepared, it's obviously very shocking. So let's get started. Before an earthquake. Now this might seem kind of strange, but when you're looking for an apartment, you want to look for an apartment that's quite new. Even if you're going to be paying a bit more money, you've got to be thinking about this situation. An earthquake might strike. So by law in Japan, all buildings are required to be earthquake resistant. Now this is where the building is designed in a certain way, which means that the shakes or vibrations are limited. Construction can only be approved through rigorous compliance with earthquake proof standards set by the law. So you've probably seen those videos online where buildings are shaking to and fro. They're not falling down because there's extra metal concrete pipes buried deep into the ground. So all buildings are generally
much safer. However, when looking for an apartment, you just want to make sure that there's maybe an emergency exit. You want to make sure when the building was made, and you just want to ask those kind of questions that you maybe wouldn't ask if you were living in England or America. So number one, check the apartment. Next, don't place any objects very high or in dangerous places. Japanese apartments are obviously very small, but you don't want to be stacking plates like above your head, because if an earthquake does happen, even though the building might just sway, those plates are just going to be coming out and maybe hitting you in the face and causing some damage and stuff. So either store your stuff in drawers, in cupboards, and don't leave any plates or dangerous items in open spaces. Next, wherever you're staying, even if it's like a hotel for a night, make sure you know the escape route. Because as you saw previously, I had no idea that earthquake was going to strike. We had no warning at all. Luckily, I was in the apartment, so I knew where to escape to. Usually on the back of every door, they'll have the escape route written there or something, but if they don't or you can't find it, just make sure you know where it is, because if an earthquake strikes, you need to know where to go. Next, find the nearest shelter. Now, this would be mainly a junior high school or elementary school in your area. This is preparing for after the earthquake, really, but make sure you know where the nearest evacuation centre is. Usually it is, like I said, a junior high school or elementary school. They're going to have beds, they're going to have maybe some food, they're going to have warnings, they're going to have information that you may not have known, so it's going to feel a lot more safer, a lot more comfortable. So just make sure you know where to go and where to evacuate. Right, probably the most important thing, have a go bag, have a go-to bag. We didn't have one, and we suffered for it. Have a go-to bag, and in it put flashlight, batteries, food, water, a book, candles, anything that you might need in an earthquake. And put a lot in there. Don't underestimate, because we were out for about 2 days. We had no food, no water for like 2 days. No electricity either, and it was mad. We had no electricity for about 3 days. Food ran out, and luckily we had a little bit of water, but that was about it. It was really scary. So definitely make sure you have a go-to bag and just leave it inside. Don't even have to touch it. Get food that has a long expiry date and just leave it in there. Oh, and have a first aid kit too. During an earthquake in Japan. Obviously when an earthquake hits, you're going to be in a bit of shock. So there's a lot of information going about, and like, you probably don't want to hear it from me because I'm not qualified at all. However, I just read online what to do in an earthquake in Japan. If you're in bed and the earthquake strikes, stay in bed and put a pillow over your head. If you're walking about, quickly get under a table and protect your head again. If you're outside, stay outside and stay away from any buildings. The safest place you could be is in an open area outside. Definitely don't move near the windows, and don't stay or walk under any door frames, because usually in a building they are the weakest point of entry and they're not supported as much. Stay in bed, stay under a table, stay safe. After an earthquake, I literally had no idea what to do. Immediately my girlfriend went to the bathroom, put the plug in the bath, turned the water on. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, we don't need a bath at this time. And actually she was just saving water, because you don't know when the water is going to go off, and more importantly when it's going to come back on again. And I was like, nah, it's going to be fine. A few hours later, water went off. 2 days, no water. In the end, they had to open kind of valves on the street, and people were just queuing on the street with water bottles, just filling it up. It was mad, it was really crazy. So she filled the bathtub with water, and that gave us kind of a little bit of water for showers, kind of drinking water in extreme emergencies. And for those apartments that have electricity, we didn't. We went 2 days without electricity, whereas some people were charging their phones, using their computers, all sorts. For those of you who have electricity after an earthquake, you can then heat water up, you can have food, you can have noodles, ramen, whatever you want. So definitely prepare some water. Obviously in your go bag you'll have drinking water, but this is kind of for washing, for cooking, whatever. So definitely fill the bath with water. Most places in Japan will have a water storage on the top. So again, when you're checking for an apartment in Japan, just make sure you know about the water storage as well. These are all little things that I never thought I'd have to worry about. I understand that these are actually really important things. So yeah, store some water. Now when the earthquake struck in Sapporo, there was a lot of chitter chatter. There was rumours circulating. We didn't know what was going on. There was no TV working. Some people had radios. Some people had Wi-Fi a few hours longer than other people before they then got cut off themselves. And everyone was just saying, oh, there's going to be a bigger earthquake. Oh, there's going to be a bigger earthquake. Oh, in 2 hours time, there's going to be another earthquake. Oh, tomorrow there's going to be a huge earthquake. And nothing actually came except for panic. So the final point is to don't panic. Unless it's actually confirmed by someone, then don't panic. Don't go on hearsay. Don't let yourself panic. And for God's sake, don't spread the rumours. If you hear someone say, oh, I heard there's going to be an earthquake, don't then forward that on and tell other people, because they're just going to get worried too. Unless literally the GA or the scientists who are researching tell you specifically via radio, whatever, then don't worry about it. Because what can you do? Don't worry about things you can't prepare for, because panic will create chaos. I think that's it for now. That's as much as I can recall from the event. It was one of the scariest times of my life. I mean, I just wasn't prepared at all. If I was living by myself with no food, no water, the shops had sold out within 6 hours. Literally everyone went to the shops and was stocking up. It was literally like a zombie apocalypse or something. Well, I don't know why it's zombie apocalypse, just like any apocalypse. Grabbing as much food as you can, as much drinks as you can, and then it was gone. And no stock came in for about another 3 days. Even when it did come in, it was coming in bits and bobs. Honestly, took about a week before shops were kind of back to normal, and then it took about a month before everything was like back to normal. It was crazy. But yeah, luckily I was living with my Japanese girlfriend Aika, and she knows what to do. She's been taught what to do, and that's because in Japan, when they're in elementary school, junior high school and high school, once a year, maybe twice a year, they'll have earthquake training, which is needed in this country. And Hokkaido isn't even on a fault line, so we're actually in one of the safest areas in Japan, and this earthquake hit and it was mad. I had my mum text me, my dad text me, my phone ran out of battery, no Wi-Fi anyway. They must have been absolutely going bonkers because they couldn't hear from me. Tough few days, no idea what to do, and for a few days after, I had this kind of earthquake dizziness where you're kind of just walking and suddenly everything, it just feels like there's another earthquake even though there's not. And I've looked it up online, and actually it is called earthquake dizziness. Prepare for that as well. Just make sure you're safe and sound. I'm not abroad in Japan or anything. I'm not as informative as him. I'm just going by what I experienced myself. Hopefully you got some facts. Definitely get the go-to bag. I've literally got my go-to bag in that closet behind me, and it's full of loads of stuff, loads of useful stuff. Just a book, because at night you got nothing to do. You don't realise how much you rely on like the internet and stuff. Just have a book that you can read. No Kindle, no iPhone, just a proper book. Thanks for tuning in again, and I hope that if an earthquake does strike, then at least maybe you can remember some of these points and stay safe. But until next time, sayonara.